Schuyler Flatten's Summit League team taking on the Big 12 earlier today at the 3-on-3 championships at the Mall of America after they lost to Conference USA. There he got a nice take, and here on the inside makes this one to go. They actually struggled in that first game against Conference USA loss, but it would be actually Flatten hitting the game-winning three right here as the Summit League team does get a victory at the tournament. The final was 22-13, so don't think they'll be advancing out of the pool play, but nonetheless they get some money and a victory in their final, probably, game of the tournament. Though the Sioux Falls Stampede have been great in their home ice at the Premier Center, their improved play on the road has to be encouraging heading into the Clark Cup playoffs. After last night's win at Youngstown, the Herd are now 6-2-2 in their last 10 away from home. Tonight, the final road game of the regular season in Youngstown. First period, Herd are on the power play, but Christian Stover stops it. He stopped 27 on the night. Midway through the period, the Phantoms strike first, just as they did yesterday. Dalton Messina stuffing it in for his 9th goal of the season, and it's 1-0. The Phantoms were on the move again in the second period, but Alec Cavaruso denies it with a nice kick save right there. A few moments later, the Phantoms would have another breakaway opportunity, but Cavaruso with another stop. He saved 17 in this game, but had to leave with a late injury. We're not sure how serious it is, and his teammates couldn't get him in the offense either, as Youngstown defeats the Stampede 3-0. Herd will be back home for 2 more next weekend. Speaking of the road, the Storm wrapping up a string of 5 of their first 6 games away from the Premier Center tonight in Bismarck. And in the first quarter, it's Kalen Campbell galloping in for an 11-yard touchdown as the Storm rally from an early deficit. If it wasn't broke, well, why do you got to fix it? It's Campbell again getting into the end zone as the Storm take a 36-19 lead. And the Thunder defense had a hand in things, getting a big end zone interception right there. And that would lead to this, the bomb from Lorenzo Brown. He will drop back and fire 50 yards to one of the impressive-looking newcomers, Brandon Shepard, in stride. Sioux Falls all over the Bucks, 64-31. Storm will have 6 of their final 8 games at home beginning on March 20th. Well, yesterday the Jackrabbit baseball team suffered one of the worst collapses in program history, squandering a 9-run lead in a 12-10 loss to Summit League leading Omaha. Today they tried to pick up the pieces in their series-ending doubleheader at Ronkin Field. Unfortunately, this first play we're going to show you kind of sums up the way things went for them on the day. Omaha's Braden Rogers doesn't hit the ball hard, but he hits it where the Jacks ain't. A run will score all the way from first on the double, and Omaha led 3-0 after 2. They keep piling on in the third inning. It's Parker Smeichel against Ryan Fromm. Advantage Smeichel. Frozen rope that just gets out over the right field wall. It was 6-0 at that point. Jacks finally would get on the board in the 4th inning for Rob Bishop, thanks to some heads-up base running. Luke Ira grounds out to third. Now Nick Smith was on second. He takes off for third, ends up getting there, and ends up coming home after that throw goes into the dugout. Jacks made a bit of a comeback in this one, but it was too little too late. They would fall 9-4, and they lose the second game as well on a 9th inning grand slam. In the majors, game 2 for the Twins in Philly. 3rd inning, it's Max Kepler with an absolute bomb. That goes off the second deck in Minnesota, led 2-0. The next man up is Williams Astudillo, my spirit animal. You can't spell Astudillo without S-T-U-D. Back-to-back home runs. He made a big play at the plate as well as the Twins got the win 6-2. Rubber game is tomorrow. After winning just 17 games all of last year, the USD Softball team is in the midst of an impressive turnaround. They've already won 22 games this season and sit just a game back of NDSU and SDSU in the league standings. Doubleheader today against Omaha, and our man Cooper, he showed up at the tail end of the first game, and guess what he got? He got a walk-off, courtesy of Dusty Durham driving in Alyssa Fernandez for the game-winning run. The Coyotes rallied for a couple runs in the 7th to get the victory in Game 1 by a final of 5-4, and that's a tough act to follow. But the Oats certainly appeared game, and also appearing game was Dusty Durham. She actually took the mound to start things off, and she was brilliant, getting the first inning strikeout. Bit of a slow start to this one, but in the second, the Coyotes bats get to work. Jessica Rogers punches one into left field for a single. She'd get all the way down to third base, and she would come home a few minutes later as Dylan Underwood will drive her in with an RBI ground. It actually goes under the shortstop's glove for an error as the Coyotes take it 4-0, sweep the doubleheader. We also have Augustana softball highlights online, the South Dakota College Track and Field Challenge, as well as the Brandon Valley Invitational highlights on KDLT.com. Back in a moment.